it's TT Angie. I thought I'd go down further into the rabbit hole of this case. I don't feel that my earlier post did it any justice, and so I'm going to just give a little more information about this case. I feel like this is probably something that needs to be put to the forefront more because everybody loves to see all these cases about stuff like this, sexual molestations of children and saying, oh, how they're going to, they a dead offender is not offender again or whatever, something like that. People are more inclined to move towards and gravitate towards individuals whose stories are of that nature, saying that they were molested when they were children. And I feel bad for those individuals because that's a terrible thing. I'm a survivor of child abuse, and I want everybody to know that I do not condone pedophilia in any magnitude or the abuse of any child in any way, shape, or form. And but this has to be addressed too because this happens as well. And the thing I'm talking about is somebody who is making false allegations against another individual in this realm, which is the abuse of children realm that we are speaking of. And this is what that girl did to this young man here. This is the younger version of Jonathan, and this is when he came out of jail. See that? Big difference, just so you'll know. I mean, look at that face. It just tells you everything. Anyways, let me get back to that. I'm going to get off my soapbox right now. So I do want to bring to light the fact that these things do happen, and they should be equally addressed. So this is a story of Elizabeth Coates right here and Jonathan Montgomery. And Jonathan and Elizabeth knew each other. They went to school together as little kids in Virginia, and Elizabeth, was familiar with him. So, anyways, Jonathan and his family they moved to North Carolina, where I'm from, and when they did, um, they went on with their lives. Nothing big. A couple of years later, when they're bigger, older kids, semi-adults, this young lady gets caught by her mother looking at sexually explicit depictions in various forms. And her mom was asking her, well, why are you looking at that stuff? Someone your age should not be looking at that stuff. I don't agree with it. I don't like it. She kept pushing that. Any good parent would. Any good parent would ask about why are you looking at that stuff? What's going on with you? What is it? I mean, do we have some issues that maybe needed to be addressed? Are we needing to go to therapy? Whatever. Anyway, so this finally, she keeps lying and lying and lying to her mom. Honestly, it sounds like she just enjoyed the pee. Okay, I don't, but I don't care who other people do. So what? That's all I can say about that. But apparently she enjoyed it. She liked it, and she lied. And the final lie was the lie, the lie, where she said that this young man here sexually assaulted her when they were little. And of course, as any good parent, she carried her daughter down to the police and they made a statement. And so there's a investigation that is done and they questioned this young man and he's like, well, yeah, I didn't do anything. I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing happened. I know her, but that's as far as I know. I mean, I've been here. I don't know, whatever. So as an innocent man, he's thinking, well, they're not going to find any evidence because a crime didn't occur and I didn't do anything. So I don't have anything to hide. There's nothing to hide. That is what any sane, innocent individual would think, right? And you think that the justice system is going to find it out. They're not going to be, they're not going to convict because how could you convict when there's no evidence? Well, that's where you all and Mr. Montgomery would be wrong. And so what happened is that they arrested him, indicted him. Indictment means that they formally charged him. So you have to go through the grand jury. It's run by the prosecution. The prosecuting attorney, ADA, is usually there. The investigator, detective is usually there. And then sometimes I'll have the witness and any other corroborating witnesses that are corroborating Miss Coates' story, not Jonathan's story, her story. It's all by the prosecution. It's got nothing to do with defense. Defense don't even know what's happening. It's done in secret, whatever. But they indicted this young man, and that means that they can move forward to trial. And so he said, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go to trial. What I don't know, and I didn't look, and I should have, but I don't want to, is I wanted to know how long this young man sat in jail, because usually when you get indicted and arrested, they put a really high bond on you for charges like this. And you get stuck in jail for God knows how long before your trial time comes up. But again, I'm going to digress on that one. So we don't know that. I don't know that, but I can find it out. Anyways, nonetheless, they go to trial. And God knows this young man got convicted. It's an interesting thing because there's a series that the local um, reporters did, an investigative reporter did. And one of the things is that he did a sit down interview with the DA's office, not the ADA that did the prosecution, but the current ADA, and asked a couple questions. And he's like, I don't know how it happened. I wasn't here, but yeah, I mean, but he said that looking at the file, it looked like Miss Coates, Elizabeth here, was very good at lying. She continued and consistently said the same story. I would too if I had been practicing for that long. And that's basically all it took. And then the corroboration of her mom saying, yeah, they knew each other, and her cousin, that's literally all it took. And I don't know if you're scared. I would be scared because that's some crazy stuff. You don't think that that's all it takes, but it really is all it takes. And this kid was convicted on just that. There was no evidence. It was years, years, and years before that it happened. And he went to jail. This kid, most likely 7 to 10, he served 4 of those years. 4 years in prison. Now, when you got charges like that, you are a huge target. Like I said, what are everybody likes to say? A dead offender is the best offender because there's no opportunity for them to come out of jail as if they can, and be and they normally reoffend. So they call people that kill those kinds of guys in jail, or females and males and females that commit those kind of crimes. They call them heroes, and they just love them, and they want to put money on their books because they killed a pedophile. I mean, wow. I mean, that's murder, but okay. Anyways, with that being said, this kid survived 4 years in prison, not jail, prison. And when he came out, finally, she confessed. There was a time where she finally confessed, and it was an uphill battle to get this kid out of jail and home. Finally, they got him home, and all he wanted to do was be with his family. And I would have too. But anyways, as you can see, look at his face, the changes from that to that. He did lose a lot of weight. Prisons and jails are not known for their healthy fare and or that. And so here's an innocent man. He sat there for 4 years, target on his back. He survived, got home, and that's all he wanted. This young lady here, finally, they start a trial against her too for perjury. And you would think that she would have at least gotten the max because that kid almost served an entire 7 to 10. This woman got 2 months, 2 months of weekend jail, not at a prison, at a local county jail. I don't even know what the justice in that is because there's no justice there. She served her time on the weekend. So I don't know what the situation is, if like she came in on a Friday, left on a Sunday. I don't know, or left on a Monday morning early. I don't know, but she was able to go into the jail, check in, do her little time, and then go home. Jonathan here, he served his time consecutively, and he didn't get to go home on the weekends or go home or be there on the weekends and work and do all that stuff. No, you can't. And guess what? Jonathan was facing having to come out of jail if there was a possibility, and then having to register as a sex offender. Let that sink in. I'm just saying it's sad and it's true and it needs to be said. All right, I've said it. All right, have a good day. Bye.